Nityanandam, this is Ma Shivarupananda, again dialing in from the beautiful Bididi campus here in Bengaluru. It's been such a beautiful morning. It's been raining, and it's that time of the year that I've enjoyed so much in Bengaluru growing up. With the rains, it reminds me of all the times I would come back from school or college and get completely drenched, and going home, we'd stop by an Iyengar bakery, buy this freshly baked bread which was still warm, tear it off and munch it as we went home. So good memories, beautiful memories. So happy to be back here in Bengaluru at this whole different other level of fulfillment that I'm feeling by being here. Today I thought I would share about a very important process. Actually, we've had a lot of people joining the Bididi Adinam, planning to be full-time resident here in Bengaluru, and they're actually right behind here in a hall called Raj Sabha. And we are doing a very interesting process right now called the Samskara Dahana Kriya. Samskara Dahana Kriya is a very powerful way to eradicate pain memories from in you, stuck patterns that again and again you find yourself going through. The root incident where your first cognition lands is one thing, but then based on that cognition, now we live life going through layers and layers and layers of this cognition settling within us. And Samskara Dahana Kriya is when you pretty much wipe through those layers of guilt, pain, all these emotions that hold us back from expressing our divinity, expressing our Sadashivatva itself in life. It's a very beautiful process where you write the story of your life right from your very first memory all the way till how you remember it right now. And all you will see, really what you will remember will be the painful incidents, or the wrong, maybe when we were hurt, or guilt. Any of these kinds of emotions, situations associated with them is really what you will have to write down in detail. It's like a cathartic process. When you write it down in detail, it starts to leave you. And then you go ahead and actually share it with people. And when that happens, in a completely private environment, of course, and when that happens, these memories start to lose their hold over you. They completely lose the ability they have to trap you into a certain way of action or trap you into non-action. So it's a very beautiful process. The whole new Adinavasi group is now going through it. As I was watching them and also watching the satsangs we play for them to understand the process before we go into it, it does seem to me like this whole Samskara Dahana Kriya is just, how Swamiji says, like we are constipated in this modern world. Really, if you look at humanity, we are highly constipated, which is why we are not willing to let go of situations or let go of wrong cognitions. We are just constantly holding on. We are very materialistic. We feel that either out of fear or greed, we need to hold on in order to protect our identity, in order to make sure we are secure. And the Samskara Dahana Kriya is one of those beautiful ways of really inducing diarrhea in that. You know how every day we Adinavasis, disciples of Paramahamsa Nityananda, we take a very powerful powder called Haritaki. And what Haritaki does is it's a mild laxative. So if your body, when it goes through a mild, has that mild laxative, and your intestine is now completely cleared, experiences such completion. Because after all, your mind and body are not two different things. Your mind is a subtler version of your body. Your body is kind of a packed up component of your mind. And when you take this Haritaki, you will see that whatever it is that you're holding on to, you just let go, and your body feels so clean internally. So almost like you have this this process of having Haritaki, so you can purge out what are the wrong things that you're holding on to within your body. Samskara Dahana Kriya also is like something you do in order to purge out these things that are stuck in your cognition and are not allowing you to live life fully because of, phantom memories, or because of fears that have settled into you, many years ago, and now you've built upon it layers and layers. See, what happens is, especially fear, when it comes up, especially as a young child, it could be very simple. Let's say your brother came after you with a toy gun and you think, oh my God, I'm going to die right now. That puts you into this fear mode, and then you go and hide under the bed because you want to escape your brother, right? So now you may be 30, 40, 50 years old, you may be the CEO of a company, but that memory will still be settled into you because that is a cognition that lands in the hindbrain, which is the brain that makes the fight or flight decisions. Because at that time, when you were a little child and your brother came after you with a toy gun, it was a question of survival because you thought you were going to die. Now, you may be the CEO of a company and sitting in there in your board meetings, but still there will be that little child in you that will be worried about that gun being held to you, and there will still be an automatic response part of you, which we call the muscle memory, which will seek to hide. Now, of course, the CEO of a company is not going to hide and duck under the table, but the hiding may come by averting topics or by, humor. Humor is another very important way where people try to change the topic and, where they feel threatened. So we just get more and more sophisticated about how we hide, or about how we deal with wrong situations that we cognize wrongly. But the truth of the matter is, deep in there, we are still these little children living out immature cognitions that we have not updated. We have not updated because they have now been programmed into a muscle memory, and we have lived them so often that now they have become an automatic response system. And so many times you don't even, your prefrontal cortex, which is your decision making part of your brain, doesn't even decide, oh, I have to hide, or oh, I have to, this is a threatening situation. Automatically, even before that decision happens, now your body has started to secrete the hormones that are putting you in that fight or flight response. So these are various ways in which these patterns get created in us. Swamiji has shared so beautifully in such an understandable way. See, these are all there in the Shastras in very beautiful descriptions, but have not been accessible to the modern man, and Swamiji has put all this in language that we can understand. So the Samskara Dahana process, going back to what I started with, is a way to eliminate these layers and layers and layers of wrong cognitions that settle in us. Now, of course, there is the root pattern completion process, where that very first incident that happened, right, which is your brother came after you with a toy gun and you hid from him because you were scared. That can be unsettled by another process, the completion process. But after that, because we are living life from that cognition, we will have layers and layers and layers of responses, layers of wrong cognitions settled into our very body, which prevents us from acting in different ways, which even before now I feel something, but even before I cognize things in a certain way, the body is starting to secrete hormones of fight or flight, and you're forced to respond in that way. Can you see how trapped we are as human beings? It's leading this kind of unconscious life. And so, of course, inner awakening is a beautiful way in which literally Swamiji clears out these wrong cognitions, because this is really what we call karma, if you look at it. I grew up in India saying, oh, this will give bad karma, this will give good karma. But if you look at how this karma settles in us, right, these wrong cognitions settle in us. Because what will happen again and again, if you start functioning from certain cognitions, you're going to start to invite these situations in your life. So when you were a child, it could be your brother chasing after you with a gun. But you'll see going forward, what will happen is maybe it'll be people bullying you in your workplace. 1 minute. This is Ma Advait. Say hi. I'm recording my YouTube video. Just a second. So as a child, it might be your brother chasing after you with a toy gun that puts you in this pure fight or flight mode. But right now, as an adult, it could just be someone wearing the same color dress as your brother wore then. Or it could be a same kind of situation where there's someone bigger than you rushing towards you. Really, what gets recorded in our memories as children could be very, very simple stuff, but it triggers off a whole type of response. In this case, running away, hiding. And then you start to do it again and again and again and again. You do it so often that you become really good at it. And that becomes your unconscious pattern of living. So Samskara Dahana Kriya is a very powerful way to remove those layers and layers of responses that have settled in you, which cause pain, which cause guilt, which really leave you feeling trapped, such that you cannot take the action that you want to. As I was saying, it almost is like the modern day man is highly constipated, and because we are trapped with this way of being, because we are trapped with this cognition, we cannot act, and so we build layers and layers and layers of these cognitions that we are not willing to let go of. The Samskara Dahana process is like haritaki, it's like kadukkai powder for this part of us, where when you go through it again and again, and when you cognize it, write it down elaborately in detail and share it out, it becomes a beautiful cathartic process whereby now it starts to loosen up and you're willing to let go of it. So maybe not quite like haritaki, because haritaki is a little more intense, a little more instantaneous, but slowly starting to get it to leave you. So now new ways of acting, so that new life is open to you. So that's the process of Samskara Dahana Kriya. Actually, Swamiji has said, if you feel like you cannot attend inner awakening, then do the Samskara Dahana process for 40 days. And this is equivalent to an inner awakening. This level of cleansing is equivalent to an inner awakening. So for those of you that feel that you are not able to take the 21 days off, come be here in Bengaluru Adinam in Swamiji's presence, then definitely do the Samskara Dahana process for 40 days. I'll actually post a link to the details of how this is done below. And if you need any help or any further questions answered, please feel free to drop me a message. I'll be happy to help. Samskara Dahana process is really one of the most powerful processes to leave you feeling tons and tons lighter. You'll just feel lighter when you have done it. You'll see all these things that you have held on to, once they leave your system, they feel like such a joke. You'll still have memory of them, so you will still know, oh, this happened, but the pain with it will just go. It's like having a really high res photograph which your computer takes forever to load, or it's having a low res photograph, you know that it's there, but instantly loads and you can instantly move on in life. So that's the Samskara Dahana process for you. It's really funny, it's probably slightly heretic to say this, but it seems like avatars come down again and again to really teach us how to poop, because that's what it is. We as humanity refuse to let go of things, and they have to come, and at every part of our life they have to say, okay, mentally how to get this out of you, physically how to get this out of you, and all at our cognition level, how to remove this from our cognition. So just wanted to share that. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, do write. I'll be back again with new fresh YouTube videos. Thank you. Nityanandam.